I'm a bit excited about the Vocaloid for today's video because she became so much more than I expected. The Spanish company Voctor Labs, which released the first two Spanish Vocaloids, Bruno and Clara, released their newest Vocaloid Micah on December 18, 2013, and the closer her release date came, the more energy she generated. Voctor Labs could have taken the easy way out and simply designed Micah as just another Spanish Vocaloid, but instead they have leveraged the diversity of Vocaloid fans and the dearth of supported languages to craft Micah into something thought-provoking and fresh. What sets Micah apart isn't a new idea, but its execution. Micah is a single voice bank Spanish Vocaloid, so her focus is singing in Spanish. But Spanish is a Romance language, and Voctor Labs has taken advantage of that here. Now, when I was a kid, I thought that Romance language meant that the languages were inherently romantic, but it actually means that the language is a descendant of Vulgar Latin, a blanket term that covers all of the forms of Latin spoken by common people, as opposed to Classical Latin, which was used for official documents and literature and the like. Spanish is the second most commonly spoken language in the world, but other Romance languages include Portuguese, Italian, Romanian, and Catalan. Voctor Labs has given Micah extra phonemes in her voice bank to enable her to sing reasonably well in these other languages, as well as English and Japanese. Micah is not a true 3 or 4 language Vocaloid, as she only has one voice bank, but its increased complexity makes her far more capable than other Vocaloids for singing in these new languages. Voctor Labs has released official demos of Micah singing in Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, Catalan, Italian, English, and Japanese. That's pretty impressive, and it has earned Micah a great deal of international attention. The informal responses to these demos seem to be positive as well, although of course Micah will have a clear Spanish accent. Versatility is a great feature, but Micah's Spanish also stands very well on its own. Her voice is powerful and it has a very broad range. In the lower ranges her voice is a bit softer, but it becomes more intense the higher it goes. Her highest notes are sung from her head, as singers would say, whereas her lower and moderate notes are sung from her chest. Or at least that is probably how her voice provider produced those particular notes. Micah's voice provider is currently anonymous. This is par for the course for Western Vocaloids, but when Micah's demos first began appearing, Spanish Vocaloid fans noticed some similarities between Micah's voice and the voice of Lady Martinez, the lead singer of a Spanish pop band called La Oreja de Van Gogh. During Micah's development, Voctor Labs and La Oreja participated in a musical movement in Spain known as Plan B, which allowed people to suggest song lyrics to the group via a website. Submitters were able to preview what their lyrics would sound like with a digital voice, which was later revealed to be a version of Micah's voice bank. Since the Spanish Vocaloid fans knew of the relationship between Voctor Labs and La Oreja, they asked if Lady was Micah's voice provider, and while Voctor Labs admitted that they did sound similar, the answer was no, she is not Micah's voice provider. While we don't know who she is, there's a bit more to talk about regarding Micah's voice provider, because she actually voiced a second Vocaloid for Voctor Labs known as Ona, who joins Akikoloid as a corporate private Vocaloid. She does not have an official release date, as she was never released, but she has had a demo released and she has been shown off to the public. Ona is a small source of controversy, as she was designed as a bilingual Spanish Vocaloid with her primary voice bank being Catalan, which would be a new language for the franchise. But since Ona is not available to the public, people who want to use a Vocaloid to sing in Catalan will be forced to use Micah instead. Since they are voiced by the same woman, it is a bit of a mystery why they were divided in this fashion, and why Micah does not have a dedicated Catalan voice bank herself. To be fair, Catalan as a language is dwarfed by the number of Spanish speakers in Spain. Of the nearly 50 million people in Spain, roughly 7.5 million speak Catalan as a first or second language, which is 15% of the country's population. So it does make a little economic sense to create a Catalan Vocaloid, and in fact Ona is not the first Vocaloid to sing in Catalan. Yamaha previewed a male prototype Catalan voice bank all the way back in 2009, so there has certainly been demand for such a Vocaloid for many years. This only further begs the question of why Ona is not available for purchase. but since Micah has the phonemes for Catalan in her voice bank and can apparently sing it rather well, it may not be a big deal in the long run. Some people have suggested that the reason Ona looks so different from Micah is that people from Catalonia, the province in eastern Spain from which most Catalan speakers hail, would find a brightly colored, anime-inspired design to be unappealing, and so Ona was designed with earthy tones and a more natural appearance. I showed a demo of Ona singing in Catalan in my winter previews episode a few months ago, and no more demos have been released since then, so I won't show any of Ona in this video, but she will primarily be used for concerts and live venues anyway. Speaking of designs, Micah's character design has been as well received as her voice. It was selected from a contest with Voctor Labs requesting submitters give her a pop star appearance. The winner of the contest was Noriko Hayashi, a Spanish native who also entered Yohio Lloyd's design contest and was acknowledged as a runner-up. I corresponded with Noriko while researching Micah, and she was kind enough to give me many details about her process for designing Micah. She said that at the outset she considered a mature idol type of character similar to Meiko. However, she recognized that Meiko's design was not very attention-grabbing, so she tried to come up with something more interesting and in-your-face, Lady Gaga-ish in her words. The most important thing she focused on was the hairstyle. There are so many female Vocaloids that she was concerned if she didn't go with something really bold, then Micah wouldn't stand out. She wanted people to take one look at Micah and say wow, and I think it's safe to say she succeeded. The line art was completed first. At that point a color scheme had not been selected, but Noriko really wanted Micah to have pink hair. However, it was suggested that the pink hair on Micah's concept art made her a little too similar to Luca and Ia, so it was ultimately changed to white. I'm sure Noriko was disappointed at first, but the white hair has since won her over. She was also asked to make Micah look a little happier, so her mouth was opened into a smile. She kept a small facial tattoo consisting of pause and play symbols under her left eye, and Micah has a little robot buddy named Nova, who can act as her microphone and a speaker. Noriko said that she didn't want Micah to use a standard microphone or a mic headset. She wanted her to have something different. The one specific thing I asked was whether Micah's design had any Spanish cultural elements, and Noriko said no. She wanted Micah to have an international feel and to be more approachable by non-Spanish people. She also wanted to avoid cliches like flamenco dresses, and besides, Micah was developed by a Spanish company and she has a Spanish voice bank. Noriko figured that was enough Iberian DNA for one Vocaloid. Micah is the first Vocaloid from Voctor Labs to offer a boxed version, as Bruno and Clara were download only. However, Micah's physical copies will be only available initially as a limited edition, of which 100 will be produced. If they all sell, Voctor Labs will likely sell additional copies as a regular edition. As of February 2014, she costs around $120 as a digital download, and her limited edition box costs $175 plus shipping. It will be very interesting to see if her capabilities with languages such as Portuguese or Italian will encourage companies to produce Vocaloids for those languages.
A las 5 se cierra la barra del 33, pero Mario no sale hasta las 6. Y si encima le toca hacer caja, despídete. Casi siempre se le hace de día, mientras María ya se ha puesto en pie. Ha hecho la casa, ha hecho hasta el café y le espera medio desnuda. Mario llega cansado y saluda sin mucho afán. Casa ve a la menina que ve e que passa, doce balanço caminho do mar. Moça do corpo dourado, do sol de Ipanema, do seu balançar. quanto tempo può durare, quante notti da sognare, quante ore, quanti giorni e carezze infinite. Quando ami da morire, chiudi gli occhi e non pensare, il tempo passa, l'amore scompare, la danza finirà. Una notte a Napoli, con la luna ed il mare, ho incontrato un angelo che non poteva più volare. Though I never asked his name, every day he was there just the same, waiting for someone who never seemed to come. I wonder why I couldn't see before and know that he wasn't there anymore, until I found the message hanging from my door. As I read, I didn't make a sound till it slipped from my hands and fluttered down. Suddenly my knees grew weak and I fell to the ground. That's when my tears fell on the letter. I could hear his voice so clear within my mind again, and I know that now his love would live forever, 'cause his heart was beating there inside the words he left behind. Dia quedes al secret, tracta els altres com tu voldries ser. Fantasies, no hi ha res impossible, ni res que pugui vèncer un cor transparent. I fes que cada dia sigui un arc de Sant Martí. Sant Martí. Fantasia, aquesta és la clau. Amb harmonia, aquest és el secret. I fes que cada dia, cada dia. Watashi ni todokete kureru nakare sumetai ho ho wo Cuando te intento decir que te quiero no es verdad, pero creo que en realidad cuando te intento decir que te odio no es verdad, porque sé que en realidad honesta no puedo ser. Necesito más valor en mí. Con mentiras trato de escapar de ti. Antes tu cuenta no me di.